सर बोले कर देबे।
Well, good morning. We shall start the rest part of your legislature. We had gone up to sessions in Parliament. We had completed chairman and deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha, speaker, officers, and panel of chairpersons. In this class, we shall proceed on sessions in Parliament. Parliament meets periodically, not regularly. That is also a point to be remembered. And this periodical meeting is called sessions. The periodic meeting of Parliament, of a legislature, it's called a session. You will find sessions in Parliament, you will find sessions in state legislature also. That is also a point to be remembered. Because legislature does not meet regularly. And these sessions are very important because being the highest legislative body, Parliament has more responsibilities towards the governance, towards the welfare of the people. It enacts laws, it amends laws, it repeals laws, it does a lot of things. So there is a need for sessions, and the executive remains accountable to the legislature through sessions. Unless there is a regular session and unless there is a clear-cut means if the Parliament functions regularly and appropriately, then parliamentary democracy will be a grand success. However, during these recent times, it is seen that sessions are not carried on properly due to marginalization of opposition in Indian Parliament. Parliament is now under the control of the executive because there is a lack of viable opposition in the Parliament, and it is one of the major drawbacks of democracy. Unless the opposition is present with a viable or considerable presence in two houses, the objective of sessions will be half fulfilled or half won. Therefore, that is necessary. Whatever it may be, but sessions are there. Sessions will be there, and Parliament meets periodically to deal with the legal aspect or the legislative and constitutional aspect of the government. It enacts laws, it repeals laws, it amends the existing law, it brings or it adds any new changes in the law, and the law is final because it is the largest or the highest lawmaking body in the country. Then what is the meaning of summon? Summon is the beginning of session. Beginning of a session in Parliament. It is the start of the session. And for that purpose, President summons the session. President summons the session. Summons the session. Not on his own, but on the advice of the Council of Ministers, and the advice of the Council of Ministers. Am I right? Council of Ministers headed by the PM. So it is not a discretionary power of the President to summon a sessions in Parliament. Rather, he is advised by the Prime Minister, the ministers, to hold a session, because obviously the preparedness of the government is essential at the starting of a session. So it is the summon, unless President notifies the summon, it cannot be held. And you know that there cannot be, that is, sessions in Parliament. Sessions in Parliament, that is, there cannot be a gap of more than 6 months. There cannot be a gap of 6 months between two sessions of Parliament. That means the sessions, there must be 2 sessions in a year. And we have discussed that there are 3 sessions in Parliament. One is your budget session, the largest session in Parliament, and there is monsoon session, and there is your winter session. And all these mentioned in Article 85. Article 85 mentions that there cannot be a gap of 2 months, there cannot be a gap of 6 months between 2 sessions. And there must be 2 sessions in a year. But we have 3 sessions in Parliament. And the first session of a year is budget session. And you know that President address to the Parliament at this point of time. It is called budget session principally. It starts from February to April or May, you can say, first week. Then monsoon session, that is July to September. And there is winter session too. Winter session, where you can see this November and December. So this is the time frame allotted to each session, and you can see that the budget session is the largest session where the thing is provided. Hello. So you can see that there are 2-3 sessions in Parliament. Another is, that is your budget session, monsoon session and winter session. And the largest session, the summoned by the President. Article 85 of the Constitution speaks about the sessions. Then adjournment. Adjournment is a process that is done by the Speaker or by the presiding officers, not the President. The presiding officers of the respective house, presiding officers of the 2 houses, they may adjourn the house for certain unavoidable circumstances, and they declare the adjournment with a specific time for reopening. When adjournment is done with a specific time for reopening, it is called simple adjournment. when the adjournment is ordered or issued without a proper time to reopen, because is to be decided later. That due to depending upon the situation, the president may declare adjournment. The presiding officers may declare adjournment sine die of the house. So this is done in order to that some certain unparliamentary scenes, or when there is a squabble between the two houses, between the among the members, when there is an indisciplinary situation, awkward situation takes place, or if on the other for others to work, they can adjourn the house. And adjournment is of two types, but this is done by the adjourning officers. It is without specific time, adjournment sine die without specific time for reopening, for reopening so that is called adjournment. And prorogue. Prorogue is the end of the session. It is done under Article 85 also. End of the session. So President notifies the end of the session. So this is done under Article 85 of the Constitution. But what happens when prorogation takes place? When prorogation takes place, all the pending bills, remain active. Means they do not lapse, but all notices, parliamentary notices, motions, resolutions lapse on prorogation. Got it? But the bills do not lapse. They continue to another session, wherever it is left. So this is a parliamentary procedure done under Article 85. And the gap between two sessions is known as what? Recess. It automatically happens. The gap. Then dissolution is also done under Article 85. But remember, dissolution is only applicable to Lok Sabha or the lower house, House of People, popular chamber, first chamber. It is not applicable to Rajya Sabha because Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution because it is a continuous chamber, permanent chamber. Only 1/3 members retire at the end of 2 years. That we had already discussed. Hence, Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution. It continues forever. It is a permanent chamber, continuous chamber. But Lok Sabha is prominent or prone to dissolution. And dissolution of Lok Sabha can be of two types. One is premature and one is automatic dissolution. If you see, dissolution can be of premature automatic dissolution, and there is also premature Dissolution. Automatic dissolution takes place on completion of 5-year terms. So automatic dissolution, when takes place, the Prime Minister advises the President to dissolve the Lok Sabha, and it gets dissolved and fresh election is declared. Premature means before the completion. Before the completion of the term of the House due to fragile majority or due to not constructive majority or absolute majority enjoyed by the ruling party. So when ruling party loses in the no confidence motion moved by the opposition members, then government has to go. So when no confidence motion is passed, the ruling party has to go and Lok Sabha has to be dissolved. In both the circumstances, the president declares the dissolution. And in the aftermath of the dissolution, a fresh general election is declared for Lok Sabha. That is called general election. So dissolution is the end of the term of the House. It is the end of the term of the House. Of people, Lok Sabha. Then when dissolution takes place, remember, when dissolution takes place, everything that is under consideration in the parliament lapses. Dissolution carries or brings an end to the pending bills, notices, and all those motions and resolutions in any house. In the Lok Sabha especially. In the Lok Sabha you can see. So dissolution has a drastic consequence, a drastic effect on the pending matters with Parliament. You got it? So that is the sessions in Parliament. Then what happens to dissolution? Okay, let us see what happens to the dissolution. We have to summarize it. Okay, so effect of dissolution. Effect of effects of dissolution. Number one, I told you कि all the pending bills, motions, resolutions, notices, petitions, and anything pending with the Parliament lapses. A bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses. If a bill pending in Lok Sabha lapses, whether the bill was originated in Lok Sabha or transmitted to it or transferred to it by the Rajya Sabha, does not matter. Anything that is pending with Lok Sabha will lapse. Number two, a bill passed by the two houses, a bill passed by Lok Sabha, but pending in the Rajya Sabha, lapses. Number three, a bill not passed by the two houses, due to disagreement or anything, not passed by two houses due to disagreement between the two houses, and a joint sitting on it has already been summoned or called by President, does not lapse. A bill pending in the Rajya Sabha but not passed by Lok Sabha does not lapse. Number five, a bill returned by President to Parliament for reconsideration does not lapse. So these are the effect of dissolution in Lok Sabha, and we have discussed the adjournment and prorogation, recess, summons. Adjournment is only the termination of a sitting on a particular day. It does not affect anything. It does not lapse. Okay, these are the effect of dissolution. Then quorum in Parliament. Quorum we shall discuss first. Quorum is the minimum number of members of Parliament to be present on a day to carry on proceedings. And the quorum is fixed at 1/10 of the present strength In Lok Sabha it is 55. In Rajya Sabha it is 25. If there is no quorum on a particular day in the House, it is the duty of the presiding officer either to adjourn the House or to suspend the meeting until there is a quorum. Okay? Then, language of the Parliament. According to the Constitution, Hindi and English to be used as language for transacting business in Parliament. However, the presiding officer can permit a member to address the House in his own mother tongue. Arrangements are made for simultaneous translation also. Though English was to be discontinued for a floor language after the expiration of 15 years of commencement of the Constitution, that is in 1965. The Official Language Act 1963 allowed English to be continued along with it. Okay, Official Languages Act 1963 allowed English Kindly remember that Official Language Act 1963 allowed English to the continued along with Hindi, but one can speak his mother tongue and that simultaneous arrangement has been made for the translation. That is also a point to be remembered. Then rights of ministers and Attorney General. It is under Article 88 of the Constitution. Article 88 of the Constitution states that every minister and Attorney General shall have the right to speak in and take part in the proceedings, either House or any joint sitting, in committee also, but shall not virtue by this article be entitled to vote. So a minister can only vote in the house in which he is a member, although he can go to each house or two houses to participate in the debate. Supposing a minister in the government of India is a member of Rajya Sabha, he will definitely be present in Lok Sabha on various occasions. But whenever voting comes, he will not be entitled to vote. He will vote in Rajya Sabha. So that is also a point to be remembered, that the Constitution provides rights of Minister and Attorney General For what? To take part in the proceedings of the House. Be a member in a parliamentary committees, but without right to okay. Then this is a right given. So a minister can take part in either house even if he is not a member, but his presence in the house does not entitle voting right to him. He can vote only in the house in which he or she is a member. Attorney General is also a person outsider. He can take part in the proceedings of Parliament. He can be a member of parliamentary committees, but he doesn't have right to vote in any house because he is not a member. The lame duck session is the last session of Parliament. Is the last session of Lok Sabha, after which, after which the general election is held, and it is called the lame duck session. So after completion, towards the completion of the term, the last session is called lame duck session. And the members of the Lok Sabha who are not elected in the upcoming election and are not elected to Lok Sabha again in the new election, in the fresh election, then he will discontinue and he is called lame ducks. So lame ducks are referred to as members of parliament who are lost in the ensuing examination. In the that is there. Lame ducks. They are called lame ducks because they are not elected to the next Lok Sabha. They remain there. And as soon as the Lok Sabha ends, these members also end their term as an MP. Devices of parliamentary proceedings. So this is all about we have discussed. Devices, lame duck sessions. Then we shall discuss the devices. The devices means the pattern of proceedings in the parliament. The first hour of every parliamentary sitting is provided for question hour. During the question hour, the members ask questions and the minister usually give answer. The questions are of three kinds, namely starred, unstarred, and short notice. The question are of three kinds. So the members during this time, during the question hour, the members of parliament ask questions and the ministers usually give answers. But does not mean that a member cannot ask a question to a different minister or to other members. It can ask, but usually the questions are directed to the minister concerned, and he will have to give answer. The members have all the rights to push the questions. So that is called your question hour. It is the fast hour. It is the fast hour. It is the first hour of every parliamentary sitting. Okay. And during question hour, several types of questions are asked. Start question. Start questions are marked by an asterisk mark. Their start question by their asterisk mark, and it requires oral answer. The minister has to provide oral answers, and hence ओके. तो स्टार क्वेश्चन में स्टार मार्क रहता है और इट रिक्वायर्स ओरल आंसर, एंड जिसके लिए आपको सप्लीमेंटरी क्वेश्चन का भी एक्सपेक्टेशन होना चाहिए. अनस्टार्ड क्वेश्चन इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव अपोजिट. requires a written answer, unstudied question written or that is your written answer, and no supplementary question can follow. Okay, that is called on-star question. Then okay, then we have this is star question, unstar question, then we shall short notice question. It is asked by giving a notice of less than okay, that is called question hour. Apart from that, a question can also be asked to private members. As I have told you, questions can be asked to a private member, and that time it is called private members questions. Got it? Then we shall move to the 0 hour. Okay, so that is called your short notice question, and private member question can be asked to a private member. A question may be addressed to a private member if the subject matter of the question relates to some bills, resolution, or other matter connected with the business of the house for which the member is responsible. The procedure in regard to such question is the same as that followed in the case of question addressed to a minister. The list of starred, unstarred, short notice questions and questions to private members are printed in green. When starred questions are printed in green, unstarred questions are printed in white, short notice question is printed in light pink, and private member questions are put in yellow color. So that is a point to remember, that the colors are assigned to different questions so that it will be easily identified by the members. Next is your 0 hour. 0 hour is also an innovation in Indian Parliament. It is an informal device available to the members of the Parliament to raise matters without any prior notice. The 0 hour starts or follows the question hour and continues up to the regular business of the house, that is called agenda. Regular business of the house is taken up otherwise. Okay, that means the time gap between the question hour and the regular business of the house, that some books call agenda. It's called 0 hour, and in this hour, any matter of public urgency can be discussed. And remember, it is an Indian innovation. 0 hour is not prevalent in any parliament in the world. Then your agenda. Agenda means the regular business of the house. Regular business of the house, passage of bill, resolution, motions, everything. So that takes place during the second hour of the day. And hence it is called agenda or the business of the government. Okay. So this is all about your devices, sessions. Now we shall move to The motions in Parliament. No discussion on a matter of general public can take place without a motion, which is introduced with the consent of the presiding officer. If any matter left for public importance, public debate, the public importance, then the matter must be brought to be discussed through a motion. The House expresses its decision or opinion on various issues through the adoption and rejection of motions followed moved by the each either minister or private members. So motions are an instrument for making the government more responsible and accountable. The motions are divided into substantive motion, substitute motion, subsidiary motion. First we shall discuss the closure motion. Motion moved by a member to cut short the debate on a material matter before the House. If the motion is approved by the House, debate is stopped forthwith and the matter is put to vote. There are four kinds of closure motion. So closure motion is to cut short the debates, to close a bill which is being delayed in the House. So there are simple closure. The simple closure takes place is taken by the minister. It is also a motion taken by the member, okay, to vote the bill. To vote the bill as discussion is complete. Then closure by compartment. In this case, the bill is lengthy resolution are grouped into parts and the diverse covers the part as a whole and the entire part is put to vote. Then there is also called kangaroo closure. Under this type, only important clauses are taken up for debate and voting and intervening clauses are skipped over and taken by first. That is called kangaroo closure. And another is guillotine. Guillotine is one when the undiscussed causes of a bill and resolution are also put to vote along with the discussion ones. So guillotine. Guillotine means at the end of the session, if the House has a larger number of pending bills and if it wants to pass all of them at a time, then it can be put, all the discussed and undiscussed bills are put together and they are voted by the members. Guillotine is a very is a parliamentary instrument to end to pass the bill. It shows lack of time and expertise on the part of Parliament. Sometimes it is seen that bills are passed without being discussed. So guillotine is not in favor of parliamentary democracy. Rather, it is a necessary evil, considering the nature and scope of the bill and the time also. So guillotine is frequently adopted. So as you can see, closure motions are of 3 to 4 types: simple, compartment, kangaroo and guillotine. Guillotine is also a mechanism. Okay. So we shall discuss the various motions briefly. Privilege motion is issued for the it is concerned with but related to related to breach of privileges. Sorry. Privileges means the individual privileges and collective privileges. It is moved by a member when he feels that a minister has committed a breach of privilege of the House and one or more of its members by withholding facts or case or by giving wrong and distorted information, and the purpose is to censure the ministers. So here privileges means the independence or independent privilege rights of a member inside the parliament. If it is ignored by the minister, if he sees that the minister is providing doubtful materials, doubtful reply, and if the materials are distorted facts, it may prove disastrous. This calling attention motion is also an Indian innovation, it is an Indian innovation. In this motion, it is introduced in the parliament by a member to call the attention of a minister to a matter of urgent public importance and to seek its authoritative statement from him on that matter. This was started in 1954 and this is an Indian parliamentary innovation. Remember, the matter is raised by a member and to call the attention of a minister to a matter urgent public importance and to seek his statement in this. Adjournment motion is a kind of motion so that is called calling attention motion, then adjournment motion. It is introduced by a parliament to draw the attention of the House to define a matters of urgent public importance. It requires 50 members to support to be admitted in the House. It is an extraordinary device because it disturbs the ordinary business of the House. It involves an element of censure against government and hence Rajya Sabha is not permitted to make use of the device. Okay, so it is not binding that the Rajya Sabha cannot use this device, but usually it is a censure against the government and that is a censure. Hence, hence It is calling attention motion. Sorry, calling attention. That is your sorry, sir. It is 0 hour. It's all right. Calling attention can be discussed in any house, but here adjournment motion is only. It is not. It is a censure against the government. Hence, not introduced. Rajya Sabha. But they remember in adjournment motion and adjournment is two different things. Here adjournment is described as motion. So in this hour, in this time, it is permitted. Parliament wants to discuss very important and urgent matters affecting the country and part of it. And usually it is directed against the government to provide basic information regarding that. So that is called adjournment motion. No confidence motion is provided indirectly, that is attributed to Article 75, which says that the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister is to be collectively responsible to Lok Sabha, which means that in a layman's term, you can say that the ruling party will continue in power as long as it has majority in the House. But when the opposition wants to test the majority, it can move a motion called no confidence motion. And as it is a major motion, it needs the support of the 50 members. In Lok Sabha, it is usually issued in Lok Sabha because it is directed against the government, executive. And once no confidence motion is finalized or approved, that will be done. No confidence motion, Article 75 of the Constitution. Okay. Then confidence motion also in the similar way moved by the ruling party to establish its majority in the House. I told you, I have forgotten to tell you, the first minister to resign after defeat in the NCM is VP Singh in 1990. Yes, 1990. And there have been many ministers, Devagowda, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they have also resigned. But no confidence motion has been initiated in the country several times. And remember, NCM is restricted to 2 times a year. That means not more than 2 times no confidence motion can be entertained. Confidence motion is a type of motions which is issued by the confidence motion by the ruling party to establish majority in the House. Okay, so these are two typical motions. Remember, they are confined to Lok Sabha, not Rajya Sabha. Then motion of thanks. I told you under Article 87, probably under President addresses, the two houses in joint sitting, and after the President finishes or leaves the Parliament, the next day a motion is to be carried, that is called motion of thanks. Motion of thanks is addressed to President, and it is not that they are not entitled. Okay. So that is also there. It is moved by the ruling party. The ruling party has the responsibilities. So that is called motion of thanks. It is called motion of throne. Speech from the throne in British Quasi, the presidential address. It will also lead to the defeat in the government if it is not supported by the majority. Then another, it is no day yet named motion. Okay, that is no day yet named motion. It is a motion that has been admitted by the speaker, but no date has been fixed. Not no day yet named means no day is fixed on which the motion will be introduced in the House. Then point of order. A member can raise a point of order when the proceedings of the House do not follow the normal rules of procedures. A point of order should relate to the interpretation of enforcement of the rule of the House or such articles of the Constitution, the regulations and business of the House should raise a question that is with the cognizance of the speaker. So in a short word, you can say, if a member feels that the proceedings in the House is not carried on in accordance with the rules and regulations, then he can ask for or he can apply for point of order. That is also, there are various kinds of motions we have seen, and there is also a censure motion to criticize a minister. Censure motion is based on a particular issue, whereas no confidence motion is not based on issue. Censure motion can be issued against individual minister or a group of minister or the central council of ministers. It is passed in the Lok Sabha. The council of minister need not resign from the office. If the NCM passes, they can resign. Okay. Point of order is written here. So you can see there are various kinds of motion. One thing I need to tell you that all motions are not put to vote. There is motions that are put to vote are called resolution. Okay. Now we shall come to legislative procedure in the parliament. In this part we shall discuss various bills presented in the parliament, the procedure of passage of the bill, and how does the government take part in it, what are its contributory or pragmatic roles. And as I told you, it is the supreme lawmaking body and no law can be made except the authority of parliament. Okay, but before doing that, let us know what is a bill. A bill is a draft proposal. A bill is a draft proposal. It becomes an act after okay, bill passed by the parliament and the president. Okay, so that is the difference between bill and act. A bill is not a law in proper. It becomes a law after it passes through different stages. So what type of bills are presented in the parliament? We can say there are ordinary bill. So you can see on the screen there are four types basic bills are presented in parliament. One is ordinary bill, another is money bill and finance bill, then constitutional amendment bill. Okay, and in the basis of the contents, introduction also, there will be public bill or government bills and private members bills. Okay, so on the basis of content, it is divided into four parts. On the basis of introduction, it is divided into two parts: public bill, private members bills. So this is the consideration. Next, money bill, a ordinary bill. An ordinary bill does not of the President. It relates with any matter not okay. It passes through three stages. That is fast reading, so the stages in the life of a bill are called reading. First reading, second reading and third reading. Third reading is the last readings. In first reading, that is introduction of the bill and so kindly remember that in the first reading the bill passes through two sub-stages, introduction of the bill by the member or the minister, and the same bill is published for the knowledge of the public, knowledge of the public. So in first reading no voting takes place. And in the second reading there is your GD, general discussion, and your committee states, okay, committee states and consideration states by the House. Okay, GD, committee states, consideration states, yes. So here committee means select committee, and not that a possible joint select committee. So the committee scrutinizes the bill and suggests amendments, but the amendment has to be considered by the House. This is a crucial stage. Second stage is a crucial stage in the life of the bill. Here substantial changes are made in the bill by the select committee or joint select committee, whatever may be. And the members consider the changes suggested by it. Accordingly, the bill is revised if there are substantial changes. And in the third reading, two things take place, that is acceptance rejection. Acceptance of the bill will pass it, and rejection will come to an end. The bill will come to an end. If the bill is rejected, then it will come to an end if it was originated, and if it is accepted, then it will go to the second house, means the any house, that is first house means it can be introduced in any house, means whether it is Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha can be the first house, and the second house may be anyone. Okay, so this is your class subject matter for today. We shall be heading towards the passage of, or the options left with the second reading, after left with the second house, after a bill is sent to it. Then we shall also learn about other bills and also joint sitting of the parliament if possible, and other matters. Okay. So let me end the class today. Thanks all of you for watching me later. It is a great privilege on my part to serve you on YouTube. I am honored at this endeavor. Okay, and Banik's initiative will definitely work. It will definitely benefit the students, which is the goal of the mega institution. Okay, so don't be disheartened. Stay up to your goal. Be safe and be courageous. Thank you very much to all of you. See you in the next class.